of you for joining us here, and it's so wonderful to see you that you're showing up through the day here right now and with such high energy. I can see the chat box buzzing constantly. So keep that going, guys. Keep that going because you're here to learn and grow and transform your life. Now, I want to ask you something here. How many of you here are to change your career? How many of you here are to change your relationships? How many of you here to change something in your business, something in your job, something in your health, something in your money, right? And since morning when you're listening to all the speakers, there are so many takeaways that you have taken. But the biggest challenge that you might be facing in your life is you may be attending a lot of workshops, reading books, watching YouTube videos, but difficulty is to when it comes to implement those ideas that you feel are wow ideas. How many of you have that issues on implementing ideas because every time you want to take that action, something pulls you back? Tell me if it is you. Type I or type me and tell me if it is you. Fabulous. Thank you very much. So I want to tell you here, okay? I want you to right now put your right hand out. Put your right hand out. Take it up like this and pat your back right now. Because half of your battle is won when you show up. And here, it's like a bigger pandemic. Procrastination is like a bigger pandemic that everybody across the world faces. And we are going to decode why do you procrastinate and how can you accelerate action part of you and achieve all your success. Now, to get there, I want to tell you this. I want to give you an analogy. I want you to understand this. That you imagine the entire solar system. Okay, imagine the entire solar system, sun in the center and all the planets around revolving around it, right? So in your life, you are, as your being, your brain is the center of the solar system of your life, and all the planets that are revolving are around your brain, and those planets are your health, your career, your relationships, your money, your XYZ, anything that you want to transform your life, right? So we are going to decode it and we want to get into the details of it. But before we get into the details of it, is it okay if I share a little bit of my background so that you will know who I am and why do I do what I do? Is it okay if I share? Give me a P for permission if it is okay for you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So before I go ahead, I want to share with you the things that I do in my life. In the last 24 years of my work, I have developed a 3-step formula, and it's a proven formula to stop procrastinating, take massive action, attract opportunities, to make more money, have better relationships, amazing health, and freedom of time under all in one roof. But before I talk about more about myself, I know you will be interested that yes, Dr. Meghna, all of it is true, but is there any student that you would like to speak about who has already created the results? So I can tell you that I have thousands of students who are constantly creating the results, and it's very difficult for me to keep up with those results. But I'm going to share with you one person here right now who has created massive results in his life in 45 days after doing my session. So his name is Rahul Sonavne. He's an entrepreneur, and in his own words, he's saying that, hi, I'm Rahul and founder of Success Booster and student of Dr. Meghna Dixit. Dr. Meghna Dixit's program has helped me to overcome my inner challenges, unknown demons, attract opportunities and abundance. I have been able to create and build on the opportunities without getting into the vicious cycle of procrastination. Earlier opportunities, which were just dream opportunities, have started coming to us in the span of lesser than 45 days. We doubled our last year's turnover, even though we had very huge impact because of COVID-19. We increased our team from 11 to 27, and I paid my 76 lakhs debt in 5 months. I strongly recommend Dr. Meghna Dixit's program to anyone who wants to attain peace, have prosperity, health, and opportunities in life. How many of you are a tad bit like woke up right now and inspired to listen to me fully? Type I in the chat box. Type I in the chat box if you have woken up right now. But before we go ahead, I just want to tell you that, why do I own and why do I want to say what I do is I am someone who's struggled with the procrastination for a large part of my life. Even though I had a lot of experience, a lot of good skills, I was very well educated and I had big dreams. But, it was very difficult for me to go ahead in that direction. Something was constantly pulling me back and I was stuck in the mediocrity. It was only about, when my son was 7 year old, about in 2010, that, he literally saw me struggling and really struggling with a lot of issues. He came to me, he saw that I am struggling and I'm probably not at my best. And he just, out of fear, he just simply said that, Mama, please don't die. Now, when a child says those things to the mother, I was kind of shattered, broken, and I realized that I need to do something really, really right now and something really drastic. And that's where I started my journey of relearning, understanding these brain principles, restudying them, and figuring it out what's happening in my own space. And I'm going to share with you what is my entire in the entire journey that I learned that if you take care of these few things in yourself, you will be able to take care of everything in your life. So if you're ready, type ready in the chat box, because I have this 23 years of experience working with 1 lakh people, more than them. I've recently published my second book, which is available on Amazon, and I am here to talk to you about it. I'm on a mission to transform millions of lives, and I'm really, really thankful that you are one of them. Fabulous. So let's begin, okay? You know you have all the potential. You know you and your family deserves that dream life. But when it comes to taking action, something stops you. And you fight back and set new alarms. You plan, you set planners, you put sticky notes everywhere, you start doing affirmations, you start telling people, help me wake up in the morning, let me do this, do this, do this. You try to do everything, but it fails. How many of you have failed in actually, implementing things because you do, even though you set all those alarms, it doesn't work? Type I in the chat box if you have. Okay, so understand this. I want to give you another understanding of this in terms of, like, I'm sure once in your life at least you have seen or have been through some sort of a fever. And when you get fever, you took the medicine of the chemist and you took the medicine, the fever came down. When the fever came down, you were okay, but in 6 7 hours the fever came back. So you went to the doctor, you kind of took medicine again and again, and it didn't work. After a couple of days, you realize that the fever is not doesn't look like a regular fever. It's not going just by taking a paracetamol. I must visit the doctor. You go to the doctor, and the doctor prescribes you to check your blood test, etc. You go get your blood test, and you come back and you show it to the doctor. And when the doctor sees the reports, there's an infection pointed out, and there is an infection in your body. And then the doctor gives you the medicine to take care of that infection. The moment you take care of that infection, your fever never comes back. Anyone here has that experience that it has never come back then once you took the medicine for infection? Yes, fabulous. So I will tell you exactly same. Procrastination is not a real problem. It is simply a symptom like that fever. The real problem is lying somewhere else. You are trying to set alarms, to write the to-do list and, tell people to remind you or put the sticky notes and stuff like that. Is just taking the paracetamol to take care. You're doing a band-aid work when that is not going to help you, and you already experienced it that it is not really helping you. Fixing those things is a band-aid work. So let's go deeper and deeper to understand what exactly then is happening in your space. So right now, take out your notepad and pen and start writing down. Okay. If you look in the front, there's this car right in front of you, and I'm sure most of you know which car is it. This is Ferrari, right? And Ferrari has got a 200 miles per hour potential. But there are two reasons, even though you have a Ferrari, and even though it's a brand new car, the roads are fabulous, there is no traffic, everything is phenomenal, you will still not be able to drive this car at 200 miles per hour. And there are only two reasons for that. The first reason is the driver's skills. If the driver is not skilled to drive this car, then you cannot drive this car in the first lane, you will drive it in the third lane, slowly. And the second reason you will not be able to drive this car at 200 miles per hour is because you're not clear of the direction. You don't have a roadmap. You don't know where to go. Now, both these things you will say, but Dr. Meghna, in today's time, can we not fix our driver's skill? Can I not fix my skills? I can go to a better education, in a better institute. I can get more degrees. I can do this and I can do that. I can qualify myself and I can have better skills. today's time, we also have lots of navigation systems to understand how to go, where to go. I have all my goals, I've got all of those things. So I have all of these things in my space. But I have a question for you. You have a great skill, you have a great experience, and you also exactly know, you're setting the goals and you know where to go. In spite of all of this, how many of you have been facing the challenge in your life that you're still driving in a slow lane than the fast lane in your life? Isn't it? That is because there's nothing to do, because every time you drive in a slow lane in your life, you doubt yourself. You start saying, every time you procrastinate, you start saying, tu gada hai, tu lazy hai, you don't want to do this. It's really not in you. Look at that person. Look at this, look at that. You always criticize yourself and you put yourself down every time you're driving in a slow lane, because you feel that you have taken the degree certificates from the best of the best institute. You have an experience, you're very hardworking, you want to do everything possible, and I also have my goals. Then I probably am really not lucky, or I don't get opportunities, right? Most of us do those things to us. I have done it earlier, so I know that you must be doing it. But what if I tell you that even though you are in a situation like this, there is something that you probably don't know in your life that's happening in your space, inner space, and because you don't know that thing that is happening in your inner space, you are not able to tackle it. So I'm going to show you right now a picture on your screen here. Okay, this is the internal mechanism of your car's machine, of the Ferrari. Now, in the car's machine, all of you must have heard about the hidden governor or the speed limiter that is put in the car throttle, accelerator throttle. And if that speed limiter is put into the accelerator, even though the car has a speed potential of 200 miles per hour, it will get stuck at 60 to 80 miles per hour, depending on where it is, where the speed limiter is put in, right? So each one of us have got that speed limiter, and that comes from, and it's a hidden speed limiter. And that comes from the upbringing that we have had. Not good or bad upbringing, but just the way you perceive the world and just the way you perceived yourself. A large part of your life and success and the results depend on the experiences that you have had. And this is a scientific research done. The large part of your life and the results that you create in your life are governed by the experiences that you have had at the very early age in your life, and that is till the age of 7, when you absolutely have no control over your or your surroundings, your environment, or what is going inside your brain. And when that happens, your brain is designed in such a way that either it can set to the mediocrity or that can set to the excellence. Now, you understand this. Your brain loves automation. It's one of the best supercomputers in the entire universe. And when it is a supercomputer, like any machine which is a high-tech machine, it is based more on automation. The more the machine is automated, the way it will function is better. Similar is your brain. The brain loves automation. 95% of your brain is automated. That's why your habits, your behaviors are so difficult to change, because either your brain can be, at this point of time, you have to re-look at your brain in a way that either it can be set in automation for mediocrity or it can be set in automation for excellence. All of you want success in your life, but the success is an outcome of playing at excellence every single moment. So I want you to relook at your life at this point of time and get into more awareness. The things that you do right from the time that you wake up to the time that you sleep, the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act, all these three is a combination of your paradigm and who you are. And your results are nothing else but the result of the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. Look at the way I'm talking about the 3 steps, right? First you think, then you feel, and then you act. Eventually, as you're growing up in your life, up to the age of 7, you become a set of memorized behaviors and habits. And that's why it is absolutely difficult for an adult human being. I'm not saying it cannot happen, but it is difficult, and you witnessed it, that it is difficult to change the habits in your life. How many of you are facing difficulty in changing your habits? Right? That's why you're here.
So either your habits are set for mediocrity or they are set for excellence, and all of this happens right before the age of 7, 95% of it. Eventually, you develop the habits, behaviors built on them, on automation. Now, if you look at your health, your career, your relationships, your money, let's take major core parts of your life. And if you have to rate them at the scale of 0 to 10, rate them at the scale of 0 to 10, you see where do you stand at the scale of 0 to 10 in your life. Just take yourself, just note it down, put it down. Health, career, relationships, money, just take 4 of this and write down where do you stand at the scale of 0 to 10 in every area of your life, and make a total of it. Now, out of 40, what number comes? Pick out of 40 what number comes. Right? So you have got your numbers, and let's consider these are the scores of your life. Let's take them as life scores of your life. And when you're looking at the life scores of your life, on the top, you see the results. Let's see this as an iceberg. On the tip of the iceberg, you see the results that you have in your life right now. But I'm going to go deeper down in these iceberg underneath and tell you the results that you have created are the outcome of what's actually happening in your space. So the first is, as I already told you, the experience that you got below the age of 7. Now, not necessarily the experience was bad or good. It's the way you saw it. It's the way you felt it. It's the way you heard it. It's the way you smelt it. It's the way you tasted it. The 5 senses that is gifted to you by birth are constantly taking the inputs from outside, and they're connected to your brain, a new nerve cell which is called as neuron. It is connected to your brain, and you're constantly absorbing all the information coming from outside world. And below the age of 7, you don't have the ability to say what is good and what is bad, because you don't have that ability given to you. You're born with a complete clean slate, and you're constantly like a sponge absorbing everything that's happening. And as you're absorbing everything, the way people speak to you, the way you see the things on the television or hear it outside, or the way that you get the experience from all these 5 senses, creates a certain way of looking at the world and certain way that you look at yourself. And the way your perception filters are developed, eventually it sets your expectation set point. Now, what is an expectation set point? Let me give an example. If you go for an interview, negotiation for a job, there's an interview happening. Before even the interview, you're going for an interview and there's a negotiation. And you want a certain salary, like you feel that, yes, I deserve this salary, but there is a number popping in your space and you feel, even if I get this much, it's okay. Does that happen? Does that happen to you that you go for you want a certain number, but you have a number popping in your space? Itna bhi milega to chal jayega, it's okay. Does that happen every time to you? Does that also happen to you when you are going, if you're in a business and you want to close that 10 crore deal, but you know what happens is, even before you want to close that deal, there is this whole question comes, maybe not this much, maybe this much. Do you get those questions? Right? Now, those questions that come in your place, which you say that I have a negative thinking or I have a doubt, I want to correct it to you. It's not your negative thinking or it's not your doubt. It is an expectation set point. And that expectation set point is developed much before you are grown up. It's not in your control. The only thing that you can do to change it by going through the constant learning and deeper learning to create different experiences. Look, you have an experience. You have to create a different experience to change the expectation set point. Once your expectation set point is developed, every time you want to change it, there's going to be a discomfort inside you. How many of you feel discomfort? How many of you feel the discomfort inside you and you feel that, I can't ask for this? Now, that discomfort is your emotions. Now, that discomfort then governs your habits. You won't play at excellence when there is that discomfort. There's nagging voice going to tell you to play less, play smaller. How many of you know that you're playing smaller than what you actually can play? How many of you feel you're playing smaller than you can actually play? Right? Then what happens is, with the habits that are on automation, you take certain actions And this is how you create the results. Your life scores right now that you have in your life, because the emotions are fuel to success or mediocrity. You're creating either mediocrity or excellence. Tell me, where do you stand? Is it on mediocrity or excellence? Tell me. Where do you stand? In mediocrity or excellence? Whatever is for you, it's important to understand whichever place you stand. Either you have automatic negative thinking or automatic positive thinking. Where do you stand in your life? Ask yourself. Because this is the only way. What you can do is you got to simply continuously keep changing your own expectation set point. Now, goal setting, I want to tell you, is a process which is a conscious process. Setting goal is a very conscious process, and achieving goal is an unconscious process. Unless and until you go deeper and deeper into the experiences, like today you got an experience which was a different experience, yes, isn't it? Like you rewired your brain since morning and you're working on it. Now you got to continue to work on this rewiring again and again and again till the time your unconscious or your subconscious mind is fully transformed. So I want to ask you this question. The one question that you must ask yourself is, while working on yourself, setting where your unconscious expectation set point is, it is set for mediocrity and you want to go to the excellence. How many of you are interested and how many of you are committed? How many of you are interested and how many of you are committed? If you're committed, type 100% committed in the chat box. Type 100% committed in the chat box. And I want you to do this. This is my one single action point for you for today and every day. Every day when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself this question. Am I interested or am I committed? If the answer is you're interested, then ask yourself, how can I switch to committed? Ask yourself that question. How many of you are going to ask yourself that question? Are you interested or are you committed? Every single day. And that is my one action point for you for entire life of yours. Thank you so much. I think my 21 minutes are over. Thank you so much, Siddharth, and over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Meghna. Amazing. All just type amazing in the comment box. Thank you for decoding what that incremental tweak that can be done in the brain can actually create exponential results. That was awesome what you shared. And those of you who want to continue with Dr. Meghna, she's doing an ultimate success builder session that's going to happen tomorrow, 9 a.m. Okay, this is going to be on rewiring your brain. She's going to cover that, how you can shift your energy patterns and how you can achieve massive success in health, finances, and in your relationship.